Yeah, we're good.
This NFC Super Wildcard Weekend Picks Edition with Brandon Jacobs on the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, get $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by the SGPN NFL Playoff Challenge. $500 in cash and prizes up for grabs exclusively on the SGPN app. Welcome, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Been dreaming of this moment for some may say 5+ years. Sean, it's only the second time the Giants have been in an optimal position since we started doing the podcast. Outside of years, they've won the Super Bowl.
Yes, we just taped the AFC Super Wildcard Weekend Picks Edition podcast. Just dropped that, and we're now back live on YouTube here at the beautiful Blue Wire Studios in the Wynn, Las Vegas. And, of course, head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. Bet $100, get a $100 free bet. So many ways to win. And, of course, if you're in New Jersey, they're a WynnBET state. Also, online casino. Deposit $100, get a $100 free credits over there. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET.
Great companion to playoff football.
Exactly. Fire up the old WynnBET Casino. All right, enough messing around. Joining us here to talk the NFC Super Wildcard Weekend. You know him from your New York Giants, two-time Super Bowl champion, Brandon Jacobs. Brandon, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it, man.
And the respect that Sean is paying you, obviously one of the more feared Giants Sean's ever gone against. Of course, part of the Eagles. He's got the jacket and everything. Brandon, how excited are you that the Giants are back in the postseason?
Well, I'm really excited, man. I think the Giants have had a very interesting football season. Started off as hot as it did, and they kind of cooled off a little bit by winning some of the games like they've been winning. Barely getting it done, should I say? But they've been in games, and if they were there in the fourth quarter, it was a chance that they were going to win. Just looking at all the offense that have been able to do without a downfield wide receiving threat that that obviously I think that we need, that that could have got us a couple more wins this year, or maybe maybe to that 12 number I predicted early on. But I think that's the next step for us.
Now there was a lot of discussion on our show whether or not the Giants should rest their starters. Ryan, of course, remembering Tom Coughlin and the way he did business, going hard till the very end. What was your take? Did you think it was a good decision to rest the starters? If you were the coach, would you have rested the Giants?
Well, it's interesting, man. I could also understand both ends of it. I understand the coach resting his guys. You don't want any starters going into the game hurt. There's a lot of things that there's a lot.
I feel like you're saying no here.
No, I'm just saying, but I can see either way. What means more to you? Some momentum, but could we have been able to beat the Eagles? Did it really matter at the time? Or they're just looking down the line? I don't know. I just know we played the Eagles team that had just dropped one to Washington. They dropped one to Dallas. They dropped one to somebody else, if I'm not mistaken.
Saints.
Which was a couple weeks.
Yeah, 14 and 3. It's, you can rattle off the 3 wins. There's only 3. or sorry, 3 losses there. But yeah, no, I mean it's obviously interesting because the Chargers on the other side, they played a lot of their starters, and then Joey Bosa got nicked up. Mike Williams might miss the game, so you can kind of see both sides.
But you saw it. If you're not watching on YouTube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast, you saw it in Brandon's body language. When he played football, the sport was to play the game, to play to win the game. And I think if you would ask anyone, I mean, do you guys win the Super Bowl if you don't play that last game? Probably not, right?
I don't think so. I got to be honest. I don't think we win the Super Bowl if we don't play that game. That game gave us so much confidence. That game, made us realize that we pretty much been playing around all season long. And when it's time to buckle down, and sit in there, like, that's what we did. Like, we was among some of the better teams in the league, if you ask me. We had the talent, we had the leadership. I think we had everything that we needed, but we committed so many our turnovers and penalties and just a lot of undisciplined play throughout the, 16-week season. But we finally buckled down. We didn't turn the ball over at all in the play. I think we had one or two maybe turnovers, throughout the playoffs, and we didn't commit that many penalties. And we went on to the big dance and won it, So, we didn't have those type of penalties when we played against the Patriots the first time, man. And we didn't turn it over. I think we might have one pick, and I think that really helped us going into it, seeing these, that these guys coming into here, 15-0 and trying to, go 16-0, and I thought we did a good job of standing in our way just a little bit. Which I think is a game that we should have won. I definitely think that propelled us into the postseason with a lot of confidence.
Well, and Sean knows I love drawing parallels between current Giant seasons and that Giant season. I think another parallel that is kind of becoming evident is the lack of respect that the quarterback was getting from most external sources, whereas in the locker room it seems like Dan Jones, a.k.a. Daniel Jones, has certainly been the guy for that team. I will say, I know you're a Daniel Jones guy. Is there any question in your mind that he's the quarterback of this team, regardless of what happens this weekend against Minnesota?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think he's a quarterback for the New York Giants. I think the Giants should give him a contract upwards toward, 3 years, I don't know, $50 million, somewhere around there. I think that'll be a great number for Daniel Jones, and they got to figure out Saquon Barkley. As much as I love him, I don't think we will be able to contain, both of them. I don't think we'll be able to, retain both guys that's up and two, critical parts of our offense, obviously. I think Daniel Jones could be a hell of a lot better quarterback if you gave him another downfield threat.
All right, so if you got to pick one, if you got to pick one, though, are you picking Saquon or Daniel Jones for next year?
Well, you got to go with Daniel Jones.
Hell yeah.
Because he's,
hell yeah.
Man, it's kind of hard to not go with Daniel Jones in a situation like that, because you need a quarterback and you need a guy you trust and a guy you believe in, and we finally got a guy, right here, throughout, they take us to the playoffs and do a lot. I think he had over 800 yards rushing on the ground, this season, which is great. I just think he's our quarterback. It's just I believe. I think,
Now, Brandon,
$50 million.
You've been on two teams, obviously, that went on that run with the Giants. We always hear about playoff mentality. Was there ever on one of those teams an epic pregame speech where one of the guys, maybe it was you, or who had the great pregame speech in those playoff runs? Was there one guy who stood out that really? The night before, we always hear these stories. He got on the chair and told him, we're not coming home unless we get this victory.
We just saw Kirby Smart at the national championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
He killed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He killed it.
Who was the guy on your team that did that?
We didn't have a guy, man, on either one of those teams that stood up on a Saturday night, right before the game and said something, because we had really got a lot of our, we understood. We knew what it was like. I think Strahan had played, and Tiki had played in the Super Bowl before in 2000, I want to say, got killed by Baltimore.
Yeah.
So they was talking about, they were talking about being there at that time. So Strahan was the only guy on our team that was left from that team, I think, that had played on the Super Bowl. that played in the Super Bowl, and he just talked about how much, they went through and how painful it was to go and make it to the big game and get smashed and, stuff like that. So he just made sure that we're aware it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So don't piss down your leg when it comes.
Hey guys, we totally screwed this up before. We're not going to screw it up again. Giants on 3.
No.
This is my last season. Like Strahan's like, I'm not doing this again. No more training camps.
Yeah, I only got one more in me. Then I'm going to go to daytime television. Did he ever talk about like, hey, one day I'm going to be dominated daytime television. Until then, we're going to win this Super Bowl.
Man, we never knew, man. We never really knew he was heading that direction the way he's headed that way. He's done a phenomenal job, man. Put out a blueprint for a lot of people that want to go that route. What he was able to do was astronomical. From playing, I'm talking about immediately after playing, it's just jumped up for him, and I'm proud of Mike, man. And watching him being able to do what he's done, what he's done is definitely inspiring to a guy like myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one thing to kind of transition and do the, former player, the pregame show. That's certainly one accomplishment. But then to like
mainstream
cross over into mainstream TV and do something like that is like a whole other skill set. Getting back to the game coming up, is there one thing as a Giants backer, I almost want to say Giants player, because much like
he can actually say we.
Well,
unlike
I use we when describing the Eagles, and Brandon uses we when describing the Giants. Sure, Brandon actually played on the team, but Brandon, as a guy who wasn't on the team, I've been invested since I could remember. Some of these guys, they only play a couple years, they're mercenaries. Me, I've been bleeding green my entire life. But the we debate. The we debate aside, who do you and the rest of the Giants, what's the biggest concern going up against this Vikings team? As an Eagles fan, I'm pointing out Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, but what do you think the matchup the Giants have to win to get this W?
Man, as much as I love Justin Jefferson, I don't think he did nothing against us the first time until the fourth quarter.
It's true.
I thought they did a job. I thought the Giants did a decent job, other than letting that damn man kick that field goal that long to win the game, man. It was crazy. But I thought they played the Vikings well. I mean, granted, the Vikings had just got smashed prior to, a couple weeks prior to that by the Cowboys. And, I thought the Giants I thought they played them pretty good, because I myself didn't think the game was going to be as close. And they showed us then that they can play with some of the better teams throughout the NFL, and with the Vikings being where they were then, I definitely got the Giants winning a close one, 28-24, 24-20, somewhere around there. It's going to be out the range. They're going to need a touchdown and not a field goal.
All right, I like it. He's setting it up so that they can't have their hearts crushed by a 61-yard field goal.
Come on, we're getting a doink. It's going to be a doink. They're going to miss the field goal this time.
Oh, yeah, that is still one of my favorite Eagles playoff memories. The Chicago Bears double doink, also a great gambling moment for me personally. As far as Super Wildcard weekend, any other teams you really like to get a win or maybe to cover the spread? Like, what would your lock be for this first weekend of the NFL?
I'm going to go with the 49ers. Who's Dallas playing this? They got Tampa, right?
Yeah, they're at home. So Tampa's at home against the Cowboys, catching 2.5.
Okay, I'm definitely going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to go with Tampa.
Nice.
I'm going to go with
Brandon just gave us a great parlay right there.
Yeah.
I heard
walk him through it.
San Francisco parlayed with Tampa, parlayed with the Giants. I mean, if we take
I think Tampa will. I think Dallas is going to stub their toes going on to Tampa. I think the moment is going to be a little bit too big for the Cowboys right there to play.
Well, we're going to get to it in a bit, but I really like that defensive anytime touchdown for the Bucs. Dak has been ripe for a turnover.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's 7 games in a row with the pick. I think in that 7-game span, 11 interceptions. Any Giants players, like if you had to pick a Giant player of the game against Vikings, what would you go with there?
Well, given the fact that they are pretty good against the run, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Daniel Jones with about 265, about 265 yards, with about 80 to 85 on the ground. A touchdown in the air and one on the ground. I think Daniel Jones is to play the game this week.
You hear that, Ryan? He's building his own win build-a-bet. He's got Daniel Jones over 250 passing yards.
You mean Vanilla Vic?
Vanilla Vic. That's one of his favorite nicknames.
It's his best nickname.
Yeah, Brandon. Hey, man, appreciate you calling in. Obviously, you want to give Brandon a follow on Twitter at Brandon Jacobs27 and talk to people about anything else you got going on.
Hey, man, well, right now just making sure my boys are good, man. Just making sure they're great. My oldest son is, he's walking up on his 11th, his junior year in high school. Got a lot of coaches and stuff like that coming at him. He just entered a new high school as well in Buford High School, which is the premier high school here in Georgia, where we are now. So can we
get any breaking news on where he might end up in college for football?
And I have no idea. The kid is all over the place. He's all over the place now, man. He got a lot of people liking him. I feel bad for the kid, for real. I feel bad for a lot of kids that's in this position, man, because they're pulled in so many different directions by so many things that has nothing to do with the game. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the game. So a lot of these kids are just, they're confused. And I always tell a lot of kids that go with the coach that makes you feel like he got your back when shit hit the fan. Feel like you're part of his family, not his university family, coaching staff, talking about his family at his house, like with his, wife and kids, like that. Like, you want to go with that guy. So, there's a lot of stuff going on out there as far as, what these kids are offered and what they can get now. It's crazy. It almost made me want to go back so I can see what I'd have got.
Yeah, you're probably thinking about going back, getting some NIL deals. If you had to get an NIL deal, what do you think you'd be endorsing?
Cash.
I don't know, man. Probably the Green Giant. And vegetables.
Hell yeah.
I like that. That's a very wholesome answer, Brandon Jacobs. For me, it would be like Coors Light or something like that. But I like it. Green beans. That's probably why you're the athlete and I'm here hosting the show.
Yeah, man. So, but he's doing great though, man. He's doing really good. So we just, like I said, he just started his high school on Tuesday, which is yesterday, was his first day. So we see how it goes, man. Real good nationally known team, and I just want to see what's up. So that's pretty much all I got going on now, man. Getting ready to go to Los Angeles to coach in the NFLPA Bowl next week. There's a lot of guys that's trying to, prolong their careers into the NFL. So it's kind of like the Senior Bowl, and I'm looking forward to coaching that as well. So just got a few things coming up.
Where's that at, Brandon?
It's in Pasadena.
Oh, wow.
Where our studio's down the street. We're going to have to come and check this out.
Yeah, is it over by the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, so this is my first time doing it. Kevin Dockery, the one got me involved with it. He did it last year, and, I told him I wanted to do it this year. So they hit me up, and I'm heading that way first.
Awesome. Again, appreciate the time, Brandon, and give Brandon a follow over on Twitter at Brandon Jacobs27. Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Go Giants.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime.
Always good to have a fellow Cowboy hater on the show.
Yes.
It's great when you have someone who played for a team that hated the Cowboys and they kept that. The hatred came with them into retirement.
Yeah, you would, just by listening to Brandon do the interview, you would swear like he just came out of the locker room. He also
rolled his eyes pretty hard at the idea of resting starters week 18.
I think if I had to read between the lines, he likes Brian Dable. He doesn't want to say, Brian Dable, he's soft. He doesn't mind calling out Brian Dable, or Brian, you don't mind, but
there is a certain etiquette in the former Giants who still are like maintaining a good relationship with the organization. It's almost like there's an internal memo that gets sent out, and once you start to hear the former players talk shit about stuff, then it's real. Then the organization's out. So he's probably on the inside, just not wanting to crush Dave's for doing the. I get it. You're a player, coach.
All right, let's get to the picks, and of course, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN. Get in there. Fantasy football best ball draft for the playoffs. 100% deposit bonus up to $100. They're giving away $1 million in their best ball gauntlet contest. Highly recommend getting in there. And again, you deposit $100, you get the $100 credit. That is 4 free entries into the gauntlet. Kramer, let's get to our gauntlet, a.k.a. the NFC Super Wildcard Picks.
Super.
Let's go. What do you
Saturday, 1:30 on the West Coast, we have the Seattle Seahawks. They're heading down to the Bay to take on the San Francisco 49ers, laying 10 points here at home, minus 525 on the money line. Seattle plus 390, 42.5 is the total. I have seen some 9.5s out there flashing. WinBet still holding strong at 10. I do think on the previous AFC episode that we recorded this morning, we were kind of doing the discussion about divisional, big dog, really hard. We were angling towards the Miami side. For this game, I can make a lot of the same arguments about the coaching, about the way that the defense is going to stand up. The one little bit that, to me, that's lacking from that handicap is the boost from the rest of the team, because the defense has just been horrible. And I know that you could argue Brock Purdy, rookies haven't played well in their first playoff game. I think it's the tune of like 3-10 straight up.
Well, Ryan, I don't know if you heard, but Brock Purdy is a combination of Dan Marino and Kurt Warner. The Brock Purdy stats do feel like a bit of an outlier. Highest passer rating through 5 games. It's Kurt Warner at 131.4, Brock Purdy at 119, Patrick Mahomes at 116.3. Warner did it in 1999, went on to win the NFL and Super Bowl MVP that season. Mahomes also won each within his first 3 seasons. Obviously, Purdy has a very good team around him. And you mentioned the defense for Seattle. That is the toughest thing to really get behind. And I think the reason they were able to win that game against the Rams was that you had Baker Mayfield on the other side. Geno Smith tried to throw that game away. I mean, from that very first play of that game, to me, the moment felt too big for Geno Smith.
So knowing it's a divisional matchup, just if we play the transitive property game, the Seattle and Rams teams are just on a different caliber right now than the 49ers. There's a reason the 49ers have the top DVOA over the last 9 weeks of the season. There's a reason that Brock Purdy is able to excel in this offense just because he understands how the offense works. I mean, number one dig against Trey Lance is he wasn't comprehending the offense. Could be that Brock Purdy is just a Jimmy Garoppolo. Smart guy, understands how to play within the confines of a system. And the offense is so damn good that it really doesn't. I mean, we've been saying this for a while. Jimmy Garoppolo sucks. We got excited. I mean, I apologize to Katie in advance. I know
you're breaking her heart.
But Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't good. But then he was good on this team in this framework. And it's like, well, maybe Brock Purdy's a younger, more athletic version of that. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen Brock Purdy make some of those Jimmy G throws that used to cost this team in big moments.
No,
I've seen a certain swagger that makes me think, hey, they really are getting Debo back, who, whether or not he puts the stats on the sheet, he adds a dimension to this offense that specifically against the Seahawks and what they suck at, which is containing run games that can get horizontal. To me, this is the chalk that I'm going to eat this weekend. I'm going to eat the San Francisco chalk. They've been undeniably great at home.
No, they have. And
they're the team that you as an Eagles fan should be most scared of, because they're the only team that comes in both on paper and on the field looking like a team that could throttle anyone. The only thing you have against them is, well, their quarterback's a rookie, and rookies don't do well in the pro season. That's it, though. That's the only handicap.
And again, that's why it was so important for the Eagles to get home field advantage, because if they are fortunate enough to move on from that divisional round and they end up facing the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, obviously being at home, especially for this Eagles team, is a massive advantage. Now,
completely agree.
I think one of the other huge matchups here is the 49ers rush defense against the Seahawks. Like, Kenneth Walker he's a dog, but
Yeah.
you just can't establish a running game against this 49ers team. They held him to 12 for 47 last time. Deebo Samuel didn't even play in the game the last time they played. Yep. To me, Geno
Elijah Mitchell's healthy. Like they even have.
I
that
think Elijah
dimension.
Mitchell's going to get involved. You're right, and Christian McCaffrey, he's going to eat. Seattle is horrible against the tight end. This is what really unlocked Brock Purdy and George Kittle was this game. 4 for 93 and 2 touchdowns. There are some Seattle guys making some business decisions on that play. I think it's tough to get up for this game if you're Seattle. I think for Seattle, and I'm looking to fade teams. I don't know. It felt like they may have dumped the Gatorade here, Ryan. I just don't see. I just don't see Seattle hanging around in this game.
The hang around angle also includes Geno just trying really, really hard to the end. But I'll serious question: who's better, Brock Purdy or Geno Smith?
Oh, right now, Brock Purdy by a mile.
So where does Seattle have an advantage? The passing game, Lockett and Metcalf versus those defensive backs, perhaps.
The receivers, yeah, but again, I mean, Geno Smith, that first play, he drops back and he just almost hits the Rams defender right in the hand.
San Fran to score a defensive touchdown is the chalk of the weekend for defensive anytimes at plus 425, and I think it is for a reason. I tend to agree. Like I think if I wanted to bet it. That's why I looked it up, and it was almost too short to suggest. But I think the idea that Geno does something just incredibly stupid because he's trying to win the game really hard. Like this is the last game he's going to start in the National Football League.
Yeah, I think as a guy who's going to be on the 49ers, my concern is that everything's been going right for the 49ers, and they're due for a game where the ball bounces the wrong way. Brock Purdy has had some fortunate luck where it comes to drop interceptions, a muff punt. Like that's how this Seattle team gets it done. And in the FFPC Playoff Challenge, I picked Seattle's defense because the thinking there was if Seattle is able to win this game, it's with the defensive touchdown. So I think that's the only thing that can keep them around. This nugget's interesting.
That's a fun correlated. I get like similarly to the Miami defensive touchdown parlayed with them winning the game outright.
Yeah.
I think you can do the same thing if you like Seattle and juice the money line to an astronomical level.
15 teams have played a playoff game coming in on a 10-plus game straight-up win streak. Those teams are 7-8 straight up and 2-13 ATS. That's kind of the stuff that would concern me. The idea of like everything's gone right for this 49ers team. This is the NFL. This is a division game. This is the third time they've played. That's how I see it going wrong.
I wonder if that trend is just for wild card round. Because I would be willing to bet that most scenarios where a team has rattled off 10 wins, they're coming off a bye there in the divisional round.
Maybe there's something to that.
And so, like, I've sprinkled this into the handicap. I know it was wrong with the Raiders, but this team is just in, like, don't let off the gas mode. They're not quite at Georgia levels of just not caring about anyone's feelings, but this certainly could get gross. And this certainly could get gross in a way that creates some fun revenge spots next year for Pete Carroll and the Seahawks team. They ran out of gas. And they're racing a Corvette. Like they're literally one of those Volkswagen vans.
It's almost like they ran out of gas, but then as they broke down the side of the road, there was this drifter named Baker Mayfield who helped push their car to the finish line.
No, the hill. It's the Baker Hill. They rolled down it.
Yeah, they rolled down it. They crushed Baker. To your point, if they didn't play Baker Mayfield on the road, I don't think they get into the playoffs.
Well, we're talking about either the Packers or the Lions, teams with like that you can actually make an argument for, hey, this team can actually go and win a game on the road here. Yeah, smash spot. Will we find ways to play San Francisco money line parlays?
No, not touching it.
Too dangerous.
If you want to put them in a tease, I can be talked into that. But I'm not laying any team in the NFL minus 525.
Are you suggesting we should give out a tease at the end of the show?
No, I'm not. You can.
All right, so we agree.
My win build to bet is. You guessed it, a 2 tight end touchdown parlay. Stay tuned.
So we agree Saturday is a California parlay, state of California for the win. Next up, let's jump over to Sunday for the second game on Sunday. Giants, Vikings, 130 on the West Coast. Vikings -3, -165 on the money line. Giants +140. 48 is the total. This was 4.5, 4 last time they played. Obviously, we watched the game. We saw what transpired. I rewatched the game recently to remember. There were certainly some fortunate events, a fumble, an interception, some things. The Vikings got the right side of turnovers. They got the right side of the kicking luck. I will say Giants fans don't seem to remember Graham Gano's just absolute onions 55-yard kick when referring to the losing 61-yard kick, but we know Graham Gano is fucking old reliable. He made the hype video for the playoffs. You know that's something when your kicker's making the hype video. Still arguably the best player on the team, although I think some guys are giving him a run for their money. We know why the line came back down. The Giants kind of won the stat sheet. The Giants won the areas that are going to cause the market to move. And so now we sit at 3 in what is a game between probably the two teams that everyone would have loved to fade coming into the playoffs based on their relative luck and their records in one-score games. I think combined they only lost 3, and one of those was the Giants lost Week 18 with their bench out there. I mean, Sean, I'll throw it to you because I want to hear your Vikings handicap.
No, I mean, you look at I just think the Vikings are able to move the ball on this Giants defense, right? I mean, what is the weakness in the Giants defense? It's the linebackers, right? You're able to get TJ Hawkinson going. You're able to get Justin
Irv Smith back for the Vikings. Another linebacker, athletic linebacker.
You're able to get Justin Jefferson. To Brandon's point, he did go off in the 4th, but he still had 12 for 133. TJ Hawkinson 13 for 109. I think there's going to be stuff underneath.
Couple counterpoints to that.
Sure.
One, Adoree Jackson was out for that game.
Okay.
Adoree Jackson is the number 1 cornerback. Adoree Jackson, like I said, would have loved to see him get a little run with A.J. Brown for a warm-up, but he certainly is going to allow them to play defense a little differently. Also, Xavier McKinney coming back from the ATV accident. He is back, and I think he also allows them to do some different things with the defense. So while I still am terrified of TJ Hawkinson, and I think that's a fair I do think they're going to be able to take Justin Jefferson out of the game. And the third point I would give you is in the 8 snaps where the defensive line was intact for that Vikings game, before Leonard Williams went out with another nagging injury, before Ojulari went out with another nagging ankle injury, they were dominant in those reps. And I think with all those guys healthy and rested, I think the defense is going to be interesting. Again, I'm going to cite your quarterback, Jalen Hurts, in his comments about Wink's defense the second time, and he said, it didn't look anything like the first time. It was a new defense. They completely adjusted. So, if I'm betting on Wink Martindale versus Kirk Cousins, and I'm calling this prime time. You know why, Sean? It's the only game on. Prime time.
No, and the Vikings are without their right tackle. I just think you're
third string center.
Yeah. Is it 100% he's starting the third string center?
I'll verify.
Because I didn't know that it seemed like the second string guy might be able to go.
Okay, maybe I'm delayed.
No. I didn't see the final latest injury report. But, I mean, Justin Jefferson at home is a different animal, Ryan. Not only Giants, but then look at some of these other home games. 12 for 123 and a touchdown.
Good. I get it.
9 for 139 and a touchdown. I mean, that was against New England, who has a very, very good defense. 6 for 98, 12 for 154. Opening day against Green Bay, 9 for 184 and 2 touchdowns.
Situational football. Honestly, I think the mistakes that were made are not mistakes that the offense makes this time around. But I think, to me, I'm excited to watch the defense. I think, if anything, getting so many reps out there for these guys who had to play because Adoree Jackson got hurt, had to play because McKinney got hurt. I mean, shit, Landon Collins is playing linebacker for this team, and he's playing it well. I think there's a certain confidence for this team, Sean, that I'm going to warn you. It's a quiet confidence right now, and I think there's not there will not be a coaching matchup where I feel the Giants have a disadvantage in this postseason.
Well, I think you're, and
it's certainly not the fucking Vikings.
All right, maybe against the Vikings, but I think the idea that Brian Dable is the greatest coach in the NFC, I think you're you're a little above your pay grade.
A little bit of mostly a comment about Wink right now, but yeah, 100%. I like the adjustments. I like the game by game approach.
And also Jalen Hurts, they took away his ability to scramble in that game. So if the Eagles do end up facing the Giants again, look for him to be able to scramble out from some of that pressure. Now, Kirk Cousins in a clean pocket versus pressure is completely different.
Yeah.
The reason I'm going to pick against the Giants, Ryan, is one,
You're scared of them for next round?
No, one, literally the Giants dumped the Gatorade, and then two,
making the playoffs. They congratulated their coach.
Yeah, literally. We have a thing on the show.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, they didn't play their starters. They took the week off. Even better. And how many people have said to you while you're walking around in your homage New York Giants jacket, how many people have come up to you and said, like, hey, Giants, this is our year. Hey, I think we might be able to upset those Vikings. Giants fans are looking past the Vikings. That's how far that we've come. That's crazy. Give me the Vikings at home. The Vikings, I'm scared the Vikings are going to win and not cover, and this is going to be a 24-23 game. But, yeah, give me the Vikings.
We've spent a lot of time in Vegas together. I will say, for a random Wednesday in January, I couldn't have ever imagined bumping into so many happy Giants fans wearing Giants gear. They are definitely going to be coming out of the woodwork, Sean.
Well, and also shout out to whoever booked our travel, aka me. The timing of our trip, I don't know what's going on, if they're auditioning new Cabana girls for the Wynn Pool, but it's just a fun place to be right now, Ron.
Cousin Mush would say it's a smoke show in here.
It is. We're just walking around. Like, wait, what? Why? Where are all? There's just been a constant influx of very attractive women walking in one particular direction at the Wynn. There's got to be some sort of audition thing going on or something.
Wearing comfortable clothes, looking like going to change those clothes. I mean, we did stop and talk to a couple security guys who may
those guys were, whatever event is going on, they're very excited.
Yeah, more or less, they were suggesting that perhaps it was auditions for seasonal employees for the summer. All right, so you're gonna
and those guys were telling us how much they make. I go, where's the line? What do you need? I can't bring out a bottle. Talk to the guys.
It makes me think maybe there's off-menu items that can be purchased.
He did say they do hire a couple of dudes. So fingers
crossed. It's 2023, Sean. You got to make sure you can identify in all directions. All right. So for the record, you're going to lay 3 points with the 11-0 in one-score games, Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 points is one score, right?
I'm going to take the points with my New York Football Giants. I think Brandon Jacobs nailed it. Dan Jones, a.k.a. Daniel Jones, a.k.a. Danny Dimes, has been disrespected this season. And his teammates are not only playing for themselves and the New York Football fucking Giants, but they're playing for this man, Dan Jones. Saquon Barkley is playing for this man. Isaiah Hodges is playing for this. Richie James is playing for this man. Andrew, you know what happens as soon as Daniel Jones throws a touchdown pass every single time? Do you know what happens? Andrew Thomas turns around and congratulates him. He's playing for that man. Evan Neal playing for Dan Jones. The defense playing for Dan Jones. Sexy Dexy, Big Cat. Kayvon Thibodeau, the savage who murdered Nick Foles and left his body to rot on the turf of the fucking Meadowlands, where many Italian men have been buried years past, allegedly.
This rant's going in an odd direction.
I'm sorry. Giants, let's fucking go. I'm in Vegas, got down a ridiculous amount of money on Giants futures. I'm all in. Let's go. Emotional baggage out the window. Boat trip, go fuck yourself. Giants get a win. No Gatorade this week, guys. Act like you've been there before.
Why? Isn't that your thing? After a win, you dump Gatorade?
No. The turf field. They don't like when you have sticky substances on the turf fields. It gets them all screwed up.
Real quick, Brandon Jacobs parlay I put into the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. New York Giants money line. Dan Jones 265 plus passing yards, and Dan Jones to score a rushing touchdown pays 13-1. So if you want to ride with Brandon Jacobs, get down on that.
We got to get the social team to put out the Brandon Jacobs parlay.
Yeah.
All right. 2 games down, 1 to go. Dallas, Monday night, because that's what's super about Super Wild Card Weekend, Sean. They figured out that people would watch another Monday night football game. The Dallas Cowboys heading to Tampa to take on Tom Brady, TB12. Last game as a Buccaneer. Where could he go next? Could it be Miami? Could it be Las Vegas? Tampa Bay is catching 2.5. Gambling instincts engage. Plus 125 on the money line. Cowboys minus 145. 45 is the total. Couple things stood out to me. A, total felt a little low. I think this is going to randomly be a higher scoring game. 2, Dallas' secondary has played like hot garbage. The pass rush has not been there of late. And 3, you take the 2.5, you lay the 3.5. We learned this years ago.
It's very easy. Also, Tom Brady 7-0 in his career against the Dallas Cowboys.
Whoa.
He's not winning the Super Bowl, but he's also not losing to the Dallas Cowboys. Tom Brady on his radio show, Let's Go, which is a pretty lame name for a radio show, quote, "We're as healthy as we've been all year," a.k.a. they're getting their center back, Ryan Jensen. So you give Tom Brady a little bit more time and you help him pick apart this very suspect Dallas Cowboys defense. The Dallas Cowboys defense that was playing to win and yet got carved up kind of by rookie Sam Howell making his first career start. 27.2 points per game over the final 5 weeks of the regular season. And again, we're saying a lot of negative things about the Dallas Cowboys, but I do want to sincerely congratulate Dakota Rain Prescott for finding a way, even though he missed 5 games during the regular season, to lead the league in interceptions. So congratulations, Dak.
Overcoming that adversity. I mean,
and Zeke's got to unhook the trailer if the Dallas Cowboys are going to get serious. Have you watched Zeke run? Again,
you know what he looks like? He looks like an 18-wheeler with a couple blown tires, just struggling to get up that hill. Struggling.
He is not going anywhere. Bucs. Well, this is interesting. Bucs have been horrible against the spread, 4-12-1. There's been one team with fewer ATS wins to make it in, the 1999 Minnesota Vikings, 3-13. But Cowboys' offensive line looks bad. Cowboys to me are kind of like Seattle. It just feels like they have no confidence.
We've said all this, and we haven't even mentioned the fact that the bad version of the Bucs team beat this Cowboys team 19-3. Opening night of the season.
And Dak was healthy in that game.
I don't know. I think I forget which week I noted it down, but the Eagles had a nice little stretch in there in the middle of their season. It might have been right after the the victory versus the Colts or the Texans. But they were kind of gloating, and we talked about we were joking that Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones, these guys are like, we're in early December and we're talking about playoff decisions. We're talking about potential Odell Beckham championships.
Yeah,
they peaked
RIP that storyline. Where's Odell gonna go?
The Cowboys peaked when they scored 54 points against the Colts in like a fake blowout when they scored 3 touchdowns in the last 10 minutes, and since then. They beat a bad Texans team. They lost to the Jags. They barely beat the Eagles with Gardner Minshew.
Well, they barely beat the Texans. Remember that game? They needed a 97-yard drive. Remember Kurt Warner thought the Texans should have kicked a field goal? Newsflash, Kurt. 7 is more than 6.
They lost to Trevor Lawrence and Sam Howell, and they beat Gardner Minshew, Davis Mills / Jeff Driscoll, and Josh Dobbs.
And that Titans team with their backups were hanging around in that game.
I couldn't be more pleased than to put money on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend. Certainly, if I'm getting involved in a tease, it's like the ultimate teaser leg this weekend. And like I said before, I think getting involved in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive touchdown, anytime touchdown, feels like the right thing to do. And you know what I was shocked to see, Sean? Another game where the money came in on Tampa. That's why the move went from 3 to 2.5, right? But since then, people are buying back on the Cowboys.
Really?
But I think the spreadsheets are going to be on the Cowboys. I think the fantasy influence is going to be on the Cowboys. I think people think the Cowboys have a good matchup X's and O's wise against this Tampa Bay secondary. I sneakily like Bowles and the defense here. I think they go all in. I think this is they know this team isn't what they've been in the past, and they have an all-in moment here. And at the end of the day, Tom Brady greater than Rain Dakota Prescott. I know we say that wrong a lot, and his people have reached out to me. It's actually Rain Dakota Prescott. So
yes,
apologies, Rain.
Rain is not his middle name. It's actually his first name. Rain Dakota Prescott. All right.
It has been raining in L.A. Hopefully that's not a sign.
It's been raining INTs for Dakota Rain.
R-A-I-N in L.A. R-A-Y-N-E in Tampa.
Yes.
That's you make it rain at the club. R-A-Y-N-E.
All right, let's do it, Kramer. Time for the lock, dog, and win bet. Build your own bet, a.k.a. some sort of sweet long shot.
Super bet.
Yes.
Super bet. Engage.
What do you got, Kramer?
Well,
I'll pencil in Giants for the dog, or do you want to do a dramatic?
No.
I'm taking the New York Giants.
I'm going to lock up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
I'm going to, you know what? No. I'm going to lock up the Niners.
Okay. Now we're talking.
I don't want to be involved in the Cowboys filth. And I'm on record. I feel like I'm the only person in the media that thinks the Bucs-Cowboys game is the least interesting game of the weekend.
Really?
To me, it's the game that includes two teams in poor form. There's not another matchup like that. I will lock up, obviously, the dog. Give me the Giants. Come on. Plus 140. I'm about to go put a solid single stack of I don't know.
High society.
That's $10,000. I'm not going $10,000. We'll take away a zero.
Ryan did ask to borrow money, so that's definitely out of the ordinary.
Well, long story short, so last night was up late doing VSiN. Shout out to Hoops Peterson. And, so I was tired this morning and just didn't grab the giant envelope of cash. So a little bit limited by the technology. So, yeah, I had to take a short-term loan from Sean here. My super wild card weekend win, build a bet. That's a long-ass acronym. Oh, boy. Thought I wrote it down. Didn't write it down. I'm finding it. No, I got it right here. I thought I had it in the quick to easy reference notes section. All right. So we're going to do another one, same theme. We're just taking a touchdown from each game. I went a little bit more responsible with this one. I'm going to go back to front. First up, Chris Godwin, plus 165. This is crazy. His anytime is longer than a number of players on his team, including Mike Evans. I think Chris Godwin has a tremendous matchup here. I think they're going to pay more attention to Mike Evans still, and I think the stuff that Godwin runs is going to be a problem for the Cowboys. So anytime touchdown for Godwin. If you haven't been watching the Giants, Richie James scores a touchdown every game. He's the slot guy. He's the guy that Dan Jones trusts. When he starts to run, this is on record, like essentially the first read is Richie James, and they are on the same page. His anytime isolated, by the way, Sean, is plus 265. Probably going to take a stab at that, but going to include it here. And then the last one, love Debo to get in the end zone. What kind of he is the statement run guy. I love Debo to give him a manufactured something around the red zone. A shock to see his anytime 160. So anyway, those three guys score a touchdown. You're getting 24-1, Sean.
All right, I like it. Yeah.
What don't you like about it?
No, I'm still thinking Mike Evans is the guy. But I know how good Godwin's look.
I went with the intent to take the guy with the longer price.
Yeah. All right, for me, lock Tampa Bay plus 2.5. Dog Tampa Bay plus 125.
Whoa, the rarely done.
You can play them both at the same time. And for my win bet, build your own bet, give me Noah Fant anytime touchdown parlayed with Cade Otton anytime touchdown. Noah Fant, 64% of the snaps. He's getting catches. He's getting targets. I think he could get one in garbage time. And then Cade Otton, he's had 7 red zone targets the last 3 weeks. Not the most efficient guy, but he's out there a ton. He gets a touchdown. Noah Fant gets a touchdown. And I get a sweet 35-1 bet cash in. Let's go.
That's well done, Sean.
And shout out to Benedict Dantold, who also is on the tight end anytime touchdown parlay. He went Kittle, Otten, Hawkinson, similar price.
Okay.
Keep in mind too, but I don't obviously I like Kittle and Hawk to get touchdowns as well. Shout out to Benedict Dantold. Got to hear a little bit of the Vikes.
Another, I did have a second one written down. If that's okay with you, Sean.
Sure, Ryan. Let it rip.
I think there's a version, because I love the defensive touchdowns.
Yes.
I've been in the defensive touchdown streets all year. So I also did a 3-team defensive touchdown parlay for the NFC games.
So wait, all three.
Bucs,
Okay.
Niners, Giants all scored defensive touchdowns.
You should round robin that at the very least.
238 to 1.
Oh my God!
What have I done here? I found gold.
Kramer,
I found
you're
gold.
about to bankrupt WinBet. Don't do it.
I mean, you know what? At this point, personal challenge. I'm taking you guys down. We're going to have to cross this off when I take you down.
Kramer's Casino.
I mean, that's got a nice ring to
A
it.
little alliteration. Hey, make sure you download the SGPN app. Sign up for our playoff bankroll challenge. $500 in cash and prizes, including $100 gift card to Homage, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Homage. Get some of their cool, super cool retro NFL gear. They got a bunch of great stuff. Obviously, subscribe to our YouTube, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Toss us a nice rating review over on Apple Podcasts. We'll be announcing some gift card winners. $100 to the best Apple Podcast review on the pregame show. Saturday, 9 a.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific. Sunday, 9 a.m. There on the YouTube channel, live answering your questions and any sort of late line movement. Check out the AFC podcast as well. Shout out to Brandon Jacobs. Appreciate him coming on the show.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
We will also be giving out $1 million lineups on those pregame shows.
Kramer. Let it ride.